Hello, I'm Dave and I saw Ghostbusters. So I'm going to give you a spoiler-free review because I know you've not all seen it yet. Now I'm not the first person to review this, there's some other stuff on YouTube, there's some reviews and Rotten Tomatoes and so on. There's some good reviews, some people saying it's really, really good. And you know, because of who I am and because of all the stuff surrounding it, I want to be able to say the same thing myself. I can't really go as far as to say that this is like a really, like a perfect film. I mean, that could just be, you know, because I maybe wasn't tuned in properly with what they were going for, what they were trying to make, but I knew that was going to be difficult because, of course, you know, at this point, there's no way I can divorce the film from, like, all of the other stuff surrounding it, so I knew that was going to be difficult for me going in. But trying to forget all that and then, like, judging the film just purely on whether it's funny, because it's a comedy film, yeah, it's funny. It is funny. Not all the time, but that's okay. But then there's the story, and for me that does kind of get in the way of me saying that I fully enjoy the film, you know, completely. Now, I thought the setup scenes, I thought that whole section of the film was really good, where the characters are meeting each other and, you know, a couple of them already know each other. That all felt really natural, it was interesting, I was carried along with the story. Then after that, though, the story becomes a bit of a mess once that section's done with. The ghost-based, you know, the supernatural story that the whole thing is kind of building up to, that felt sort of flimsy. It was like a weird combination of being like really, really simple, like almost too simple, but also kind of confusing. I think that might have been me as well, because technically it lines up fine, and if you sort of, you know, go like, well then this happens and then they say that, like it all works. But I think I was concentrating so much on the characters that I was in, because I'll tell more about that in a minute, but I was enjoying watching the characters, and I think I was concentrating on them so much that I wasn't really taking in what the story was supposed to be. So maybe I just had difficulty kind of, you know, holding on to what the story was supposed to be, or maybe it was a bit of a mess, I don't know. And then towards the end of the film, when you get to the sort of the famous scene that we know about from the marketing and the internet talk about it, where there's, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but you've seen that there's a bit where there's a certain ghost stomping around. That bit to me didn't feel quite as adequately set up as it should be, as it could have been, and as it should have been to really, really land. And I think people who dislike the film or want to dislike the film are going to pick up on that, the slightly janky story. But honestly, you know, back to the positive side, I think that would be nitpicking, because it's the cast that really matters. The whole film revolves around and is, you know, saved by, almost doesn't matter what the story is, it's saved by the fact that the cast are really enjoyable to watch, to the point where the plot just feels secondary. The characters are good. I really enjoyed watching them. All four Ghostbusters, love them. Two of them stood out in particular. I won't say which two, just in case you don't want to know, but I don't think it'll surprise you if you've seen any of the stuff surrounding this to learn that one of them, well, for want of a better description, the Egon really was a highlight. Special effects were okay. They were okay. You know, some of them worked a lot better than others. I thought, like, some of them worked fine, like really well, and then others, there were a few where I couldn't look past the fact that what I was looking at was special effects. You know, it's like, oh, that's how they do special effects in films at this time, you know. There's a weird mix of the fact that some of the ghosts are just people, you know, they're just actors but with an effect put over them. And then there's some that are sort of, you know, more like monsters. And Slimer, for example, Slimer's in this. Yeah, he doesn't look exactly like what I think of as Slimer, but, you know, they couldn't have done him the exact same way, so it's okay. Now, there was some stuff that would come on screen and I couldn't help imagining the stuff that they're going to release, you know, to tie in with it, so toys and cartoons and all that sort of stuff. There's stuff in it that kind of just seems like tailor-made for that, like it works better as that than it does, you know, as part of a standalone film. It made it difficult to, you know, see it as a standalone film, but that's just the reality of it, isn't it? That's just how we are now. We can't go back to how things were before, I'm afraid, much as we might like to. So I had to try and work around that, you know, because I recognise that's the perspective that I bring to it. So I tried to see around that, and it does work, you know. But so ultimately, though, it does work. If you can watch it without your sort of, you know, preconceptions of what you already know about it and so on, if you can just watch it like it's a film, it does work. The characters were good, I thought it was funny, and I thought the story was a bit dodgy. So yeah, Ghostbusters. I enjoyed it. I recommend it. So now I'm quite looking forward to seeing the reboot with the female cast.